You are listening to The Faithful Father, Pemberton Manor, Book 3, written and narrated by Becky Doughty. Chapter 1. He'd thought it was a cruel joke. "I want to see you," the note had read. It had been slipped under his door sometime over the holidays while he'd been out of town. "I'll be back tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, until you open your door to me." But Harvey knew better. His son would never have written those words, because his son could hardly speak, no less write coherently. His son couldn't walk or drive, or even leave his room without help. His son couldn't see anything, even if he wanted to, because he was blind. And if, by some miracle, he wasn't, it wouldn't change things. August wouldn't want to see his father. But everything about the handwriting, from the backward tilt of the letters indicative of a lefty to the dramatic downward slash of the I, it was familiar enough to keep Harvey from crumpling the thing up and tossing it into the trash. The signature, too. It wasn't quite the same. The A was askew somehow. But the T? August crossed his T with a flourish every time he signed his name, as though he wielded a rapier instead of a pen. If he didn't know better, Harvey would have sworn the signature was his son's. Harvey had slept fitfully that night, waking every couple of hours to stare at the paper on his nightstand, memorizing the phone number without even realizing it. 5 a.m. had come all too quickly, and his bleary eyes with their sandpaper lids had worked better than any scratchy hair shirt to remind him of all the reasons he paid penance these days. He'd thought about that note every day, every hour, practically every waking moment since finding it. At the shop, behind the wheel, between sips of morning coffee, over whatever takeout meal he ate at the end of the day. At first, he'd found himself pausing outside his apartment door, his heart pounding, wondering if he'd find another folded scrap of paper on the floor inside. And every time he pushed the door open to find nothing there, a wave of emotion he didn't want to define settled like a millstone around his neck. At night, in the murky darkness of his bedroom, he'd begun to pray again. "Please, God, please." He had no other words to express the well of emotions that had been tapped. He'd spent...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?